Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Top 10 Songs. I'm your host, Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. He's finally here. He has arrived. We've been talking about him long enough. Mr. Jeff Young.
And guitar in hand.
And Yngwie over there, former Megadeth lead guitar player and solo artist.
Look who else we have
and we
here.
got Tallulah here.
We got to bring her on up here, people. She wants to get in the shot. There she is.
My new buddy.
Yeah, she won't leave Pete alone.
So today we got a real surprise for you guys. So Jeff and I have been talking about having him on the show for a while, and he's been on a little 10cc kick of late, and I always like 10cc. So we decided the first show we would have him on, he's like, let's talk about 10cc. So damn it, we're going to do it. So we're going to do our top 10 songs, some honorable mentions. Jeff is going to kick us off with his number 10. Then we're going to ping pong back and forth, I should say, until we get to our number ones, and then we'll do some honorable mentions. So I'll let Jeff kick it off with his number 10 10cc track. By the way, a great band. Real quirky band. British band.
Very quirky. We had, and I have details. I watched a 10cc documentary.
He did his homework, see?
Did some homework. So I think I can add some color commentary here along the way.
That's what we're all about, yep.
My first here?
You're going to just
toss the
I'm tossing the baton
volleyball over to me.
You're number 10. What do you got?
I'm going to get jiggy with it right out of the gate and break the boundaries here with a tie at number 10.
You're going to know why I'm making the face in a second.
Do you have a tie at 10?
I do! I almost never do ties. I usually pull a mulligan every so often and say, I just couldn't leave one of my songs off. So I said, I'm going to do a tie. So, okay. And we did not rehearse this, believe me. So, all right, what do you got?
At number 10, I have from the How Dare You album. I've got a few from that one.
That's a good one.
It's I Want to Rule the World. Tied with the very next track after that on the LP. And I had this on vinyl. It's I'm Mandy, Fly Me.
I love that too. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's a great one. We'll be talking about that in depth a little later. All right, my number 10. Again, we got a tie here, folks. I could not leave either one of these songs off. So, tie for number 10, we got "Feel the Benefit," which is that epic 3-part track from the Deceptive Benz album, which is a really good album. And then "Dreadlock Holiday" from Bloody Tourist. It's like, they decided to do a reggae tune, and it works. A bunch of white British guys doing reggae, but it was a lot of fun. So I just could not leave that song off. So that's number 10 for me. What do you got at number 9?
Number 9, I'm So Laid Back. I'm laid out.
He's really laid back. So yeah, it's like worked for you.
From the Deadly Benz album, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's now that we're just kind of getting started with this, how would you describe 10cc to someone who's never heard them before? Like
the most adventurous pop, rock, art rock band with some sick production tactics that we'll talk about as we go on. And also video. I mean, I don't think people are aware of how revolutionary with the video they are, especially two of the members that went on to play together, Godly Crim.
Yeah.
They did some of the early Duran Duran videos. A lot of the early MTV videos were directed by them. Did you know that? We're learning on Sea of Tranquility.
That's right. Yeah, they're impossible to kind of classify. Because, 1 minute they're doing like this gorgeous pop, the next minute they're doing like this kind of quirky art rock or prog or what have you. But it's all good. And I think for me, a lot of people talk about when those two guys left the band that kind of the quality went down a little bit. But you listen to all those albums after they split and formed their own band, it's still really good. A lot of really great tracks on a lot of those later albums.
You know what? This is great because I can either look at you, I can look at you right there like, hey.
Well, there you're looking at everybody else. But yeah, I'm here, I'm there. So I know. It's exactly.
Well, the green light's everybody else. I see you, but...
That's right. My number 9, and I know it's going to be on your list too somewhere. How about Rubber Bullets from the first album, the 10cc album?
I didn't put that.
You don't have that?
I don't have that.
I'm shocked. Okay, well, hey.
All right.
I got one you asked.
I don't think I have anything off the first 10cc album.
Okay, that's a good album. That's a good album.
Acquiesce.
That's a good album. I like that too. Very quirky. Really nice tune. So What do you got? Number 8.
Ooh. Also from Deadly Bands. A song that some of the members didn't dig at first. The Things We Do for Love.
I love
that. That became a huge, massive hit.
Was that their biggest hit? Did that surpass I'm Not in Love? I don't know.
How can that be?
I don't know. It was really big, though.
True. That's the question. Does anybody out there know?
One of your readers probably know. Or one of your viewers, I should say. I don't know. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, for me, my next, my number 8, I'm going to go to the Sheet Music album. How about Baron Samedi? That's one of their rare, like, kind of hard rockers. A lot of really good guitar work in that tune. In fact, I sent you a live clip of that from, I think, the BBC a week or 2 ago. And I was surprised at how, like, kind of progressive they turned that song in a live format. Good stuff. Good stuff. So that's my number 8. So 7, what do we got?
Well, first I'll correct my faux pas, Deceptive Bands.
Deceptive Bands.
I was saying Deadly Bands.
Oh, Deadly Bands.
It's the same.
Yeah, Deceptive, Deadly. Begins with a D.
You got to watch it with the scuba diving. I think that's the general point, right? Hot to Trot, 1977.
Cool. That's a good one.
It's funky.
Yeah, it is. They can do the funk.
They funk.
Yeah. I dig
We
it.
love the funk.
That's right. And kind of along the same lines. We're on the same wavelength here. Kind of funky.
Do they have any songs about shadows? Because I keep putting a shadow in my subwoofer with my leg.
Your leg? Oh,
There we go.
How about Life is a Minestrone from the original?
They talked a lot about that in the documentary.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
I would definitely like to see it. That's a fun tune. I always like that. Really kind of, again, that kind of quirky, funky pop thing that they always really did so well. So that's my number 7 off the original soundtrack. Might be my favorite 10cc album. It's close. What do you got for numbers? What do we got? 6? 6? Yep.
Feel the Benefit. Feel it. Parts
That's a gorgeous tune. 2 and 3.
And 3.
I like how that tune kind of like starts. It's kind of like this kind of floating, kind of atmospheric thing, and then it picks up steam and throws in all these little proggy bits. And great tune.
All these songs, look, this whole little bracket, all from the Deceptive Deadly Bands album.
Deceptively deadly it is, right? That's a good choice. I like that. That's made my list too. What do we got? What are we up to? Number 6?
5.
Number 5? 5? 6? I think I'm 6. Yeah.
You're 6.
I'm 6. Yeah. You'll be going number 5. All right. How about from How Dare You? Mandy Fly Me.
Yeah.
Love that too. It's catchy as all hell. Catchy. All right.
Damn Beauty.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we already at number 5?
Now we're at number 5.
No color commentary about Mandy.
Go ahead. That's it if you want. No.
Well, between 10cc and Barry Manilow, I think we got Mandy covered.
Yeah. And you know what? In all honesty, that's a good tune also. Sorry. Guys, I don't dislike Barry Manilow, okay? So I don't mind.
No,
you know what? I grew up, my mother listened to Barry Manilow all the time.
And Johnny Mathis.
And Johnny
Carpenters.
Yep.
Engelbert Humperdinck. Had some Nat King Cole and Tom Jones and all that stuff.
Yeah, you got to kind of like the stuff your parents were listening to when you were younger. It's just the way it is, right? So
my number 5, on principle alone. I mean, it's an amazing tune, but I had to put. I bought a flat guitar tutor, also from the Deceptive Deadly Bands.
Yeah, that one didn't make my list, but that is a good one.
That's talk about quirky.
Yeah, it is.
We got quirky. There's some quirky in the honorable mentions.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I try not to look at my guest list, but I just happened to see one on there that I was pretty enamored with. So very cool. All right, what do I got? Number 5. How about? Have we done any? Yeah, back to sheet music. How about the Wall Street Shuffle, man?
Yeah.
Any
shuffle's a good shuffle.
Any shuffle's a good shuffle, but man, when 10cc do a shuffle, I like that. That's a fun ass tune. So that's really good. All right, the final 4.
Yeah, I mean, people should really dive deep on this band because probably outside 2-3 cuts, the rest of the stuff's pretty elusive to the masses. Yeah. But one of the 2, 3, or 4 would be my number 4 choice, Dreadlock Holiday from Bloody Tourists.
There was no way.
Bloody Well Right.
It's a fun tune. I remember when I first started. How long have you been at the 10cc? Because I haven't been on board
since I'm Not in Love.
Really?
Hit the radio.
See, yeah, I liked the radio tunes,
75.
but I never got into them from an album perspective until
right.
like maybe the last like 8 years or so. I started buying like their albums on CD.
We talked about that on the previous Music Without Boundaries show. Bands that maybe went over your head a little bit as a kid. The older, the more mature we become, the more we can appreciate. And I think 10cc definitely fits that category.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that when I'm Not in Love first came out, that was early mid-70s. That's before I really got into like heavier music, so I was into like all the AM stuff. I remember hearing that song and loving it. But then I got into like metal and hard rock for all those decades, and I didn't start to reach back out to 10cc music till I was much older. Obviously, in my 40s, and I wish I would have kind of discovered them from a more of their discography perspective earlier on. But you know what? Better late than never. Right?
Yeah.
Better late than never. All right, so. For number 4 for me, how about Art for Art's Sake from How Dare You?
Which almost heard that on Music Without Boundaries last week.
I did.
I've been hooked on that song. I think I've played it on a couple shows over the past few years.
In fact, and you don't know this because you can't tell when I sign on to listen, but because you remember I was in Boston.
Right.
And when I kind of just got in and was getting ready to turn it on, that's the song you were playing when I signed in.
Well, hallelujah, brothers and sisters.
See that?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a great tune.
Really
good tune. I love the chorus on that song. Really good. All right, final 3.
The third one for me would be from the original soundtrack, a fine album, Blackmail.
That's a good one.
Also been blasting that on the show.
I was going to say, you played that one too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good one. That didn't make my top 10.
Blackmail. Yeah, that's funky.
It is funky. It's a really good tune. That's in my honorable mentions. I'll give it away. Also from the original soundtrack, my number 3, the one with the long title. It's just a great tune. And again, another one of their more rocking tunes. The Second Sitting for the Last Supper.
Yeah.
Dig it. So, all right, the final 2. Mine are going to be no surprise, I think, here. I'm interested. I know what one of yours is going to be, but I'm curious what the other one's going to be. Actually, no, I think I know what it is.
I mean, the number one, everyone knows because it's one of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the history of
I couldn't pick anything.
Greatest songs of all time. And think about, I'll save it till we get to number 1. Go ahead with your number. Where are we, 2, 3?
You're a 2. Yep, you're a number 2.
I'm up?
You're up.
All right, well, I concur, and I think all of our listeners can concur that we love art for art's sake.
Yeah. I mean,
we musicians need some money, for God's sake.
That hook is just so tremendous in that too.
Just the whole thing, how it begins, it's almost dorky, like Devo, You could, are we not men? We are Devo. So,
yeah, it's a good one.
It's a great one.
Yeah, it could have been higher on mine. I mean, it came in at number 4.
Also from How Dare You. And that cover, I remember that's another album cover as a kid. That you look at the cover and you're like, you see it in the record store and you're just like,
yeah, it's like,
what is this?
Was that one done by Hypnosis? I know Hypnosis did a lot of their covers, but I'm not sure if they did that one. I didn't look that up.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's cool. So my number 2, probably pretty predictable. Again, a hit single that I just love to death. And I even, for like a half a second, considered putting it my number 1, but there's no way I could have had my number 1 coming in. Yeah, they just can't do it. So The Things We Do for Love from Deadly Deceptive Bends. Again, a tune that just showed that there was life in 10cc after 2 of the main guys left. And I think I forget his name, but the guitar player also sang. He was great writing hooks.
We got Graham Goodman, who, you know how many songs that cat wrote before? He wrote For Your Love for the Yardbirds.
Yeah, the Yardbirds,
he
exactly.
Wrote Bus Stop,
yeah.
Bus Stop.
He was a pretty prolific guy.
Cat is a genius.
Yeah,
he played guitar, bass, and vocals, and we had... the cat's name is
Laugh
Out Loud Creme. LOL Creme on guitar, keys, and vocals, and then Kevin Godley, and which became Godley and Creme, the video directing team.
And Eric Stewart, he was another guy.
On guitar, keys, and vocals, and they all sang. And that's going to come in handy for our number 1 pick.
There you go. Which
are we there?
We're there. We might as well just announce it together because they're both the same, right? So
I mean, this is, first off, I had to make some notes about this because this song is so cool, so historic, epic. First of all, our number one choice started out, which is close to my heart, as a Brazilian bossa nova.
Oh, that I didn't know. Wow, okay.
All right, and they hated it.
They hated it. The band
hated it. Everyone around the band. But then, what are we going to do with this song? How are we going to... There's something to it. That the whole lyric was so prolific. They took tape machines, started looping. They were some of the first loopers, right? Spent 3 weeks singing sorted harmonies, tons of them, on 16-track, dumping it to a 16-track so they would have 13 notes of this chromatic scale to choose from, with the top C and the bottom C, right? 624 voices, right, crazy, at their disposal. They played that all back through a 16-track tape machine, through the control decks, and each band member had control of 3 faders.
Like, who thought of this, right?
And you got to watch the documentary because how they lay it out is just amazeballs. But then they played the mixer like a keyboard, like a musical instrument, and the rest is history with the song. And the music that's there was only intended as a backing track, and they were going to take it away, and it was going to be just a vocal-only piece. But it crept on them, and it was so seductive. They just decided to leave the music, and that's the story. And I'm Not in Love, along with Bohemian Rhapsody, are near the same time, and also, two of the most epic, multi-layered masterpieces.
And really none like that, either one of them since, right? What's really interesting is that he sent me a clip of Tori Amos doing this tune about a week or two ago. And she totally stripped it down. It was bare as anything, and she almost sang it like spoken word without all the layers of sound like Jeff just described. And it was very cool, but it was really weird hearing it, because when you're used to this like lush, richly textured classic, and then you hear the song stripped of all of that, it's just like, wow, that's different. Really different. So I had to listen to it twice, and I was like, actually, as I was listening to it, I was like instant messaging him. I'm like, man, I'm having a hard time gripping this, because it's just so, when you're used to hearing a classic song the way it is, and then you hear it done by someone else completely different, it's just like, it's a little jarring at first, but then you kind of appreciate it, right? So, I
love both versions, and we're talking I'm Not in Love, people, 1990-75.
Yep.
1975 from the original soundtrack, 10cc.
Yeah.
And that's not only, I think, a #1 song for this show, but that's got to be up there in the all-time radio-friendly masterpiece. If we're going to do a radio-friendly masterpieces show, that's going to be on there.
It's got to be
Bohemian
on there, right?
Rhapsody.
It's got to be on there. Interesting enough, a lot of people thought, Jeff just described how they kind of put that song together. A lot of people thought they were actually using mellotrons and like Moog synthesizers to get those sounds. Not at all.
How cool is that?
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty ingenious, I think, right?
So they did it like that old Well Balsam commercial from the 70s. Tell 2 friends and tell 2 friends and so on. And even in the documentary, it looks like that. Then you see all the voices of the members. And,
So you got some honorable mentions?
Great band. I got a few. I mean, first of all, for honorable mentions, all of them. Every other song by 10cc, but let's go from 2006's When the Chips Are Down.
I don't think I've heard that album.
Oh, come on now. Hot Sun Rock, Clockwork Creep. How about from sheet music, 1974, we got Hotel. We were quirky songs, The Worst Band in the World.
That's a good tune, actually. Yeah,
very cool tune. Somewhere in Hollywood.
Yep.
Action Man and Motown Suit.
Yep, that's good.
One of the greatest song titles ever. And it's hard to have humor in music. Very few bands can mesh that, and 10cc always had that. From Bloody Turistas, we got Tokyo.
That's
what a very cool tune. And you know, I said all of them, so I left it at that.
Cool. I'll throw a couple out here. How from the first album, The Dean and I, Speed Kills. That's a good one. I'm trying to think, what else did you not mention? From the original soundtrack, how about, what do we got? Well, Blackmail, you covered. Flying Junk is good. Another good one. You've Got a Cold from Deceptive Men. This is great. Good Morning Judge. A lot of great tunes. We can go on and name like every song from the 10cc catalog, and they're all a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So that's our top 10 songs. 10cc. First episode with my good friend here. Thank you so much for.
And what are we about to go do?
We are going to
We're going upstairs into the studio.
Into the studio for some music without boundaries. So
the radio hoedown.
Yeah. So by the time you guys are watching this, that would have already aired. So if you don't get to see it, once you see this video, or if you don't get to listen to the radio show, once you watch this video, go to jeffyoungjams.com. Okay, find the episode. The episode is called.
It's called Monster Music Mashup.
That's right. And I'm sure
because we're going to mash up a bunch of monster music.
Right. So he and I are really big classic horror and monster film fans. And as we know, a lot of our favorite artists have been. So if you like Dracula, Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the Wolfman, Invisible Man, Godzilla, King Kong, Frankenstein, all that good stuff.
Tallulah.
So don't miss it. So Jeff, you want to tell them where else they can find you on the web here?
Oh, just a host of places. Check out my CD Baby store. Got my new single Monsoon is on sale with Rick Fiorabaci. Fine bass players, played with a few up and comers, and Brown Tichy on drums and Tina Guo on cello. My Equilibrium World Fusion Rock and solo album is also there. Reverb Nation, check me there. Jeff Young Jams is the radio show. YouTube, I'm on there, and got the radio show on YouTube. Music Without Boundaries. Twitter, Jeff Scott Young.
I really recommend the YouTube show.
The Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/JYGTR. That's how they help out our listener-supported radio and get that new music out.
That's right. And, well, Jeff and all his endeavors, you know, he's a busy man trying to put out content for all you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
she's the executive producer of Music Without Boundaries, and she's you see she's restless. She's ready to get upstairs and get on the faders.
She's a little doll. So thanks everybody for joining us. Remember, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. And we got content coming almost every single day here on YouTube. And coming up, a lot more good stuff. I'm not going to spoil it all now. But make sure you go check out jeffyoungjams.com, Music Without Boundaries. All right? So for Jeff Young.
Sea Tranquility.
And Sea Tranquility, yes.
Website and YouTube.
That's right. We're all over the place. So we're not hard to find, folks. So thanks again to Jeff for joining us. He'll be back. He's going to be a regular on the show. And we
got some stuff up our sleeves.
Yeah, stuff up the sleeves. They're up there somewhere. So anyway, guys, take care. Have a good one. Hope you enjoyed this. Take care. Bye-bye.